Great. So I assume I'm audible. In case this is our first interaction, I'm Prashant Chaudhary. I'm currently working at NPCI, National Payments Corporation of India's Legal Strategy and Market Development. I'm a pass out from JBIMS in 2023. And these are a few other things about me. You can feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have anything to discuss. This particular session, why we're meeting here is because of guest teams, right? So we'll focus totally on guest teams. Now, what all we will cover. So one is, of course, we'll try to know what exactly is guest. You will know the definition. Just by looking at a problem, you should know, okay, that we are talking about the guesstimate. So then we'll also understand why exactly are we wasting our 1 hour, 1.5 hour on guesstimates. What is so crucial about guesstimates? There are some methods which you can use to solve guesstimates. We'll learn about those methods. We'll solve few problems based on those methods as well. Now, solving these guesstimates sitting at home is a different thing. Solving these guesstimates in an interview setup is a different thing. So we'll compare that as well. We'll also learn that what exactly should we do in interviews. There are some steps which you can memorize. There's some practice questions we'll solve here. There are some practice questions which you can take home as a homework. Yeah, that is all that we'll try to cover in next 1.5 hour. Just one request to all of you. We want this session to be interactive, right? This should not be that I'm just delivering something and you're just consuming. It should be a two-way communication. You can just feel free to maybe unmute at any point of time. You can put it in the chat if, let's say, you are not in a situation to unmute. Any comment you have, any questions you have, anything you want to discuss, please feel free to. Okay. So just to understand if you guys have understood what I just said, uh, someone wants to tell me what exactly is guesstimate? Anyone?
So I would like to.
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Okay, like suppose we are with a case study about anything we are given any prompt. So there are certain quantitative things that you calculate. So the interview does not give you the exact number. So based on the questions you ask, so you guess estimates about the numbers or anything quantitative.
Got it. Absolutely correct. Anyone else wants to add on to what Aditi said?
So, hello, sir.
Yeah.
So, we have to actually guess a number based on some approach we used. Like, if we are asked to guess the number of, solve the guesstimate of number of car users, so we have to follow some structured approach. Like, we have to divide it into urban, rural, then upon income groups, and at the end, we will get at a conclusion.
Got it. Absolutely correct. Anyone else wants to add on to what these two said?
It's just an educated guess.
Educated guys, okay.
To me, it's like calculated assumption.
Calculated assumption, okay. Okay, so I mean, each one of you is right, right? There's nothing like right or wrong here. Absolutely, whatever all of you said is right. The keywords here, if I noticed correctly, was guess and estimate, right? Which of course is this word. So if you just break down this word, you will get guess plus estimate. So of course, there's some kind of guesswork involved. There's some kind of estimation involved that we will do. But why exactly are we doing this guesswork or estimation? So that we can arrive at some specific, right? There's some specific number which is being asked by the interviewer in the question, and that is why we are progressing that way. And this specific number, you need to reach out with some limited set of information. You can't just use any information in the word. You can't just Google and use, right? If that would be the way, you can just Google the answer, right? You can get the answer. So this will be the limited set of information. This limited set of information either can be your knowledge. Let's say you all must be knowing what is the population of India. Maybe you will have an idea of, let's say, area of India. So those all things you can use. Other than that, it can also happen that there's some kind of information which interviewer is providing. Okay. So he can say that, okay, assume, let's say, population of Mumbai to be this, and then calculate this. Okay. That's completely possible, especially if guesstimates is in an area where you don't really have very specific knowledge. So in that case, interviewer can give you those numbers. And with those numbers, of course, you can move ahead. If I look at some kind of examples of guesstimate, so first example is estimate the total number of ATMs in, right? So estimated total number of ATMs, it can be estimated total number of pen, it can be estimated total number of humans in India, it can be anything, right? So estimate the number of anything and everything. I'm just assuming X in India. Okay. And in India also can be any geographical location. It can be Mumbai, it can be China, it can be Russia, it can be maybe some small village, anything in geographical area, or it can also be in some time frame, right? So let's say they are asking estimated number of almonds sold. Okay, it can be in India. Other than that, it can be also in last 24 hours, in last 1 year, so on and so forth. So either it can be geographical location, either it can be time frame, or either it can be combination of. That is the first type, generalized. Second type, if I talk about, is estimate the market size of toothbrushes in India. Again, it can be anything and everything. Estimate the market size of pen in India. Estimate the market size of laptops in India. Estimate the market size of mobile phones in India. Estimate the market size of maybe copies in India. Estimate the market size of motors in India. Anything and everything. So this toothbrush can be replaced by any X, and this India can be replaced by either any geographical location or any time frame or the combination of both. Okay, these are two types. The third is little vague. Now the first two I gave you a generalized statement, right? For the third one, it will not be really possible. Okay, so for the third one, it is a vague kind of statement. It is a vague statement. Okay, so if I read this statement, it says estimate a total number of tennis balls that can fit inside a Boeing 747, right? Will you ever get a chance to actually do this? You take tennis balls, thousands of tennis balls, and then you are fitting it inside a Boeing 747. No, no job will demand this, right? So that means it will never be a real scenario. It is just a vague statement just to check whether you are good enough with the calculations or not, whether you are taking a good approach or not, right? So while there can be multiple on the same lines, let's say estimated total number of tennis balls that can fit inside a room, estimated total number of, let's say, ice cream cones which can fit inside a Boeing 747, so on and so forth, right? These kind of statements can be there, but there can be further different guesstimates which can be asked on these lines, which will again can't be generalized, but those will be vague statements, right? So this is all about guesstimates. Hope now it is clear that what exactly is guesstimate. Just when looking at a problem statement, you can tell that okay, this is a guess. Now the second question, why exactly are we learning guesstimates? Why companies ask guesstimates? Yeah, please
Sir,
go ahead, Samas.
yeah, sir, like you just said that, like to arrive at a specific number with limited information, you can use your own knowledge. But like in morning we had session, so you are not supposed to use your own knowledge. You must comply with all the things provided in the case. You can't use your own knowledge, like everything you know before the case. You're supposed to work only on those things which are provided to you, not like you know about that thing.
Okay, not sure what session you had in the morning, right? I don't have the context, but you can use your non-knowledge. And again, this is what I'm saying. Of course, other teachers might have other point of view. You can finally decide what you want to use, but you need to memorize some stats and guesstimates. Okay, you will memorize some stats, and those stats you can use in the interview. Just like I said, India population, area of India, right? Let's say geographical diversity in India, right? How much population live in rural India? How much population live in urban area? These all things you can remember and you can use in testing, right? Hope this is clear. Let me know if there are any further questions. Great. So you can use your own knowledge and of course the known knowledge. I mean, it's not like that my own perspective I am using. It's more like population of India I know, population of India is a fact, and that's the reason I'm using that. That's completely fine, right? Okay. Yeah, great. Anyone else having any other question or any answers to why exactly are we learning estimates? Anyone, you can tell me your personal reason. Why exactly are you in this class? Yeah.
Sir, I believe, first of all, good afternoon. My name is Samruddha. So I believe guesstimates are asked and are important because they want to see our thought process, just
Okay.
how we think about a certain problem in any given situation.
Okay, one is thought process. Anything else? Anyone else can think of?
I believe guesstimates are used because sometimes exact data is often unavailable or hard to get, but decisions still need to be made quickly. So they help in problem solving and also help in quick decision making.
Got it. So, of course, this will be used in real life, and you are saying this is used mostly for the stats which are hard to get, so that quick decision making can happen. Agreed. Anyone else? Any other reasons?
Hello, sir. My, my name is Jay Rikame. Sir, the guesstimate the interviewer give to us because they want to know that can interviewee think in a structured way.
Okay. Whether your thought process is structured enough or not, right?
And
Yes,
it
someone
also
else was
help
also saying.
and it also help us to know that how much steps we can divide it into the statement.
Okay, maybe your problem solving ability or how you break the problem, right? Problem solving,
Sir,
how you break. Yes.
to arrive at a recommendation or a conclusion, you must have sort of quantitative data. So that's why we use guesstimates.
Right. So whether you're fulfilling the, I mean, of course, if you need to give some recommendation, you need to have an idea of that thing, and to get an idea, you use guesstimate. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, whatever you all have said, some of you have said your own reasons, some of you have said your company's reasons, but all of you have made a fair. Now, just to answer why exactly guesstimate. So I think if you are an MBA student, so the first advice that I'll give to learn guesstimates and the reasoning will be because it is asked in your interviews, right? It is asked in your summers, it is asked in your finals, either you are first year or second year student of an MBA. You must learn guesstimates. It is asked in almost all sort of interviews. It is asked in consultancy, it is asked in product management, it is asked in strategy interviews, it is asked in CEO's office role, it is kind of any gen man roles. Even in salesman marketing interviews, I've seen people asking guests. Now, why companies are asking it? Of course, many of you said it might taste your, let's say, problem solving, whether you're good in problem solving or not, whether you are having an structured thought process or not, right? Structured thought. They might also tell whether you are good in quantitative, you have good quantitative or number crunching abilities or not, whether you are really having a practical sense of data or not, right? So these all things a guesstimates can tell about you, and that is the reason companies are asking. But other than checking your aptitude, there are some practical use cases as well. When you will be working there also, you might have to use this. So any kind of market sizing problem statement, you might need to use guessing, right? So any kind of market sizing you are doing, let's say you are in an organized sector, right? So I'm in a town, right? I need to just know, okay, how much is, let's say, sweets market, okay, in that town, in any town for that matter, right? Let's say I'm just taking a big town, which you might be knowing. Let's say Nasik. Nasik is a city in Maharashtra. Okay. So someone is asking how much is the sweets market in Nasik. So in that case, you might want to use the guesstimate, right? Rather than going to the data and finding what's the value. Or even if, let's say, there might not be any market, this is possible, which can give. Another thing is pricing, right? So if, let's say, you are starting some new venture, let's say when Blinkit must have started, when let's say Zomato must have started, they might have come up with some pricing model, right? How did they come up with this pricing model? They used the guest. Another is competitive benchmark. Again, you are in some unorganized sector. Let's say in Nasik only, there are, let's say, 4 sweet shops: sweet 1, sweet 2, sweet 3, sweet 4, right? All of them have their market share. You are, let's say, shop 3 owner. You know how much you are making, but you don't know how much S1, S2, S4 is making. So just to understand how much your competitors are doing, how you are in front of your competitors, how will you place yourself, what better you can do for these kind of things, you can again use guesstimates. Okay. So I think why guesstimates is clear now. Now we clear on what are guesstimates and why guesstimates. Now we'll talk about some methods to solve guesstimates. Anyone of you knows any method to solve guesstimates by any chance?
Top-down approach, then bottom-up, then demand side and supply side.
No, you said top to down. Anyone else, please add. So bottom, bottom to up, demand side, supply side.
To
Anyone else
divide
know any
the
other opinion? Yeah.
to divide the question breakdown in many
Okay.
ways.
Okay. You're saying break down the problem statement. Okay. Anyone else wants to add on to this? No.
We can make logical assumptions based on the known data or our experience or our sense.
Got it. Got it. Okay, we can make assumptions. I think that is what we meant by the estimates as well. So of course we need to make assumptions. We can make assumptions and use the known. Great. Great. So while most of you told me some approach, at least two approaches I got from you, which is top to down and bottom to up. These are the two. Other than that, all are just the methods which I can, I'll say these are just the ways to look at the problem. Okay, not even the methods. Okay, first I will tell you what demand side or supply side. So when you look at a problem, there can be numerous ways of looking at the problem, right? So let's say I'm looking in the shoes market. Okay, just say the shoes start from some factories. They are made in some factories, right? These are made in some factories. Factories, of course, then they are branded in different companies, right? Nike, Reebok, Spark, so on and so forth. Okay, or maybe another brand. Then they maybe go to stores and malls and so on, right? Malls or let's say shops. And then it gets to the customer, right? That is how the usual life cycle of a shoes look like. Now, if I want to understand how much shoes are sold or bought in 1 month, either I can know that how much a factory is producing, okay, how much all factories combined are producing. That is one way of looking at this. Okay, so I'll just look at all the factories. I'll just look at all the factories. I'll see how much they are making, and whatever they are making in a month should be sold or should be bought, right? That should be the general. Uh, yeah. Another way of looking at it can be that there are different companies in the market. Nike is there, Adidas is there, Reebok is there. I mean, n number of companies are there, right? You see how much each company is making. You add all of them, and that is how also you can come up. Another way of looking at it is where it is sold, right? It is sold in stores, malls, shops. You see how many stores are there, how much it is sold, how many malls are there, how much it is sold, how many shops are there, how much it is sold. Add all of this, and that is how also you can get. Another way of looking at it, you look for the customer. How many customers actually buy shoes in a month? Okay, that is how also you can find the number of shoes sold or bought in a year, right? Or in a month for that matter, right? So now there can be these four ways of looking at just one problem. You can just pick any one of them, you'll be able to find the answer, right? But if you look, factories are actually supplying the goods into the market. Factories are the one who push the product. That means it is nothing but it is supply. Similarly, companies, if you look at, companies are nothing but companies also push. That means they are also supply. Shops, malls, shops, they are also to sell the material. That's why they are supply. Customer is here to demand the material. Customer is the one who will buy this. That means customer is the demand side. Okay. So whenever you look at the problem, you decide whether you want to look it from the customer's perspective or whether company's perspective or whether shop owner's perspective. And that is how you decide whether you want to solve it by demand side approach or by supply side. As I said, this is not a method, but just a way to look at the problem. Okay. Now moving ahead. Just give me a minute. I'm just resharing. So in total, there are these four methods, which I will say. Other than, of course, different ways of looking at the problem, different ways in which you can solve a problem. These are the broadly four methods. One is top down, another is bottom up, third is constraint based approach, fourth is using simple, right? We will go one by one. We'll solve some problems as well, maybe one on each of them, right? So we'll start with the top two now. As the name suggests, of course, we'll start from the top. We will go down. Okay. So when I say start from the top, top simply means a large number. So we'll start from a large number. Now, what can this large number be? This large number can be population of India. Okay. This can be, let's say, area of India. It can be population of anything else as well. Let's say population of Mumbai, population of Delhi, population of world, so on and so forth. Then what will you do is, since you need to now break this down, now you will break this down. Okay, so someone was saying breakdown. This is the same thing. Top-down approach itself is a breakdown, right? So what you will do is you will break this large number into very small chunks. Okay. Now, how will you break it down? Let's say population of India I am talking. Okay. So there can be different ways of breaking the this population. One way can be, let's say, based on their income levels. So whether someone is rich, someone is from middle class, someone is poor, you can break the population in three parts. Similarly, maybe where do they live? Okay, so area of residence. Whether they live in, let's say, rural area, urban area, and so on and so forth. Please, guys, tell me some other ways you can think of. Another way is maybe based on gender. Okay, fourth is maybe based on age. Anything else can you think of? Any other method by which you can break down the population of India?
On the basis of geographical regions.
Yeah, we can break down in regions as well. South, north, east, west, so on. Yeah. Other than that, anything else?
Language.
Language they spoke, of course. Yeah. Other than that, anything else? So there can be n number of possibilities to be very fair. On the literacy level, on the education, anything and everything for that matter. Any kind of physiography. Okay. Any kind of maybe psych. So what is going on in their mind on that basis as well? Maybe something which can be visualized as their reason, their gender, these kind of as well. You can break it down. So I'll just break this down into different chunks. Okay. You will break it down 2 times, 3 times, whatever is necessary. Usually 2 to 3 times is recommended. Not more than that, not less than. Okay, 2 to 3 times you'll break it down to finally arrive at the required number. And eventually you should reach to the required number or the final answer. So you should break it down in a manner that you are reaching to the final answer, right? As of now, it might look very hypothetical. So what we will do is we'll solve a problem using this approach so that understand how exactly or what exactly I am trying to say. Look at the problem statement. Question is saying estimate a number of toothbrushes sold in India in a year. Okay. So again, it is talking about India. We'll start from population of India. Anyone wants to tell me how much is the population of India? Quickly.
1.5 billion.
1.5. Okay. Anyone else?
$1.42.
Okay. So we'll say 140 crore. Okay. 1.4 will take. Of course, I mean, if let's say you are in first year, maybe by the time you reach your second year, it will be 150 as well. So someone who said 150, if you are in your first year of MBA, you are absolutely on the right track. Great. This is 140 crore. Okay. Now we will break it down. Now, since we are talking about the number of toothbrushes sold, so of course, if you look at the kind of toothbrushes we use, in what manner you want to break this down? How will you like to break the population?
Children wise, and the young
Okay, one is age.
age wise.
Anything else other than that? It depends on age, whether you're
Plastic
children.
one or bamboo one. Plastic or bamboo.
Okay,
Eco-friendly.
so you are talking about the number of toothbrushes. So what kind of toothbrushes are there? So kind of toothbrushes, if I talk about, maybe natural one I can consider. Okay. Natural simply means, so I will go with the regular ones. So I'll start from the regular one, then I'll go with electric, and then I'll go with natural. Regular means any kind of bamboo or simple toothbrush, right? Electric will be the electricity one, right? Natural will be any other which doesn't count in the first two. natural can be, let's say, someone who is using some red powder. There was a time where Lal Dant Manjan was very much used. Or maybe they're not using any toothbrush at all, or they may be using some tea brushes, datun and all, right? This will come in natural. So these are three kinds. But what I meant while asking this is, if you need to break down the population of India, on what factor will you break it down? So one factor I can notice is age.
We can also divide on the basis of brand conscious versus the price conscious buyers.
Okay, so of course, when I say price conscious, usually it will depend on the area where they live, area of residence, or either it will depend on their income level. So either you want to break it down maybe into rural, urban, and semi-urban, or either you want to break it down into poor, middle class, and rich. Okay, so these can be two ways. Okay. Now, of course, I'll choose either of these. In the exam, or in the interview, you can choose all three as well. As of now, I'm just choosing one. Okay, so I'm, let's say, choosing area of residence. So area of residence, three residents. I know one can be rural, another can be semi-urban or semi-rural, another can be urban. Great. Okay. Okay. What do you think? How much population is living in rural? Out of 140 crore, how much percentage?
Around 60%.
Okay, 60%. Semi-urban and urban.
And semi-urban maybe 15%, and other remainings are urban. 35%. 25%.
Okay, so I'm taking this 50, 20, and 30. And this is, I'm talking about not the registered population, but rather the population who is living there. It might happen that this, I come from a village, but I'm living in, let's say, city. So I will be counted in city. So 50%, 20%, 30%. Okay. If I talk about population, it will be nothing but 70 crore. It will be nothing but 28 crore. It will be nothing but 40. Okay. Now, if I want to break it down further in age or income level, I can. But right now, I'm not doing. I'm just moving on. Now we can talk about the number of toothbrushes that day. Okay. So I can talk about the regular, electric, and natural. Okay. What do you think in rural India? How much percentage is using regular, electric, and natural?
80% are using regular.
Okay. So I'm just taking 70% this. Okay. Electric, I'm not taking. This I'm taking 30%. Okay. So this will be 70% will be 49. This is of course 0. This is 30% of 70 is nothing but 20. Okay. Now let's talk about semi-urban. In semi-urban, what do you think? Rural, electric, regular, electric, and natural.
Yeah, 60% using a regular toothbrush,
Okay.
and 20% are natural and 20% electric.
Okay, so electric, of course, is not that high. To be very frank, in overall India as well, it will be less than 5%. So what I'm doing, I'll take it 5% here, and even if let's say 1% is here, 1% is here, that will be counted. Okay, that is what I'm doing. So 80% of 28 will be how much? 8, 8, 4, 6, 8 to 16, 22.4, right? And 2% will be nothing but 5. Okay. Now in urban area, if I talk about rural electric and natural, regular electric and natural. So natural, I am taking, let's say, 20%. 20% will be high, right? Percent will be high. So natural will not be actually 20% is what I think. 5% is electric. We have already taken. Natural, I can maybe take, let's say, 15%. Okay. Regular, I am taking, let's say, 80. So 80% of 42. 33.6, and 5% of 42 is nothing but 2 point. This I am not telling. This I can later. Now, if I want to find total number of regular users, total number of regular users will be nothing but this 49 plus 22.4 plus 33.6. 49 plus 22.4. This was 22.4 only, right? Someone can just confirm if the calculation is right.
Yes, sir. It's right.
Okay. Okay, great. Then it is 33.6. If I add it, it will be 34 plus 22, which is 56 plus this will be 105. Correct. Someone confirm if the calculation is right. Then I see electric users. Electric users will be nothing but 0, 0, and 2.1. So 2.1. Okay, then natural. So whatever is left is natural. Now what will I do is, of course, now I have these two. So first I did the population of India, then I divided into regular, electric, natural. Now I want to talk about their consumption pattern. I know how many regular users are there, but how many they sold or how many they bought in a year. Okay, how many they bought in a year. Okay, so how many they bought. So if let's say I talk about regular users usually, let's say, buy maybe so usually recommended is 3 months, right? But people usually delay it. So let's say they buy it 4 months per year, but then they buy it some new as well. Whenever they are traveling, they are going to some hotel or so. So maybe 3 per year, right? 3 per year I will take. No, sorry, 3 months. One toothbrush in one is 3 months, right? One toothbrush in 3 months. So I can say 4 per year they are buying. Similarly, electric, if I talk about maybe one toothbrush per year. Okay. Natural, they are not buying at all. So 0. They are not buying at all. So what I need to do now is I need to just multiply the number of people with their consumption. So the total answer, final answer will be nothing but 105 multiplied by 4 plus 2.1 multiplied by 1. So it will be 420 and 2.1. It will be 42. This should be the answer. If you have any problem in understanding how it is the top-down approach, what exactly is different for top-down approach, or any of the calculation you will understand, let me.
Why did we not take the natural one?
Because natural one no one buys, right? Naturals, what are we considering? One is we are considering the datun kind of thing, right? Tree brush. So someone who is they themselves are procuring, right? They are not buying anything from the market. Another is some maybe powder, right? Lal Dant Manjan kind of things. So again, they are not buying any brush. Okay. And I mean, natural, someone who is not doing at all, either they are doing some maybe just fully kind of thing, or maybe they are not using, they are not brushing at all. Then again, they are also not buying.
Like,
It doesn't include the bamboo one if you are referring to that. It includes the regular one. Yeah, you were saying something, please.
like, yeah, I was saying that thing only, like bamboo is considered a natural or regular.
Yeah, so here we are considering in natural. Again, sorry, here we are considering in regular. It is completely up to you on how you want to consider.
Sir, can you explain the calculation which you did at the end?
This one or this one?
Yeah, this one.
This one. So what we're doing is we are just so if let's say regular users are 105, okay, they all are buying 4 toothbrushes in 1 year. So in 1 year, how many they in total will buy? 105 multiplied by. Similarly, the electric users are 2.1. They are buying one toothbrush per year. So we are basically multiplying number of people with consumption to get the final answer. Let me know if this clarifies. Is it clear, whoever asked? Great. Now someone wants to tell me whether it was demand side or whether it's supply side.
The demand side.
Demand side, right? Because we are talking about the customer. How many customers are taking it? If we have to go to supply side, I'll go to how many manufacturers of toothbrush are there, or how many shops sell the toothbrush. Okay, great. Hope this is clear. If there are any questions, please let me know, else we'll move forward. Okay. So next approach now is a bottom-up approach. So as the name suggests, this is the exact opposite of what we just did. Here we will start with the granular piece of information, very small piece of information, okay, which can be, let's say, my own pattern, anything which is related to me, my family, my city, whatever is nearest possible to me and which is known. And what I will do is I will extrapolate this information. I'll take this to this level, then another level, to finally arrive at the required, which is finance. Okay, so that is what I will do in bottom. Again, let's take some example to understand bottom approach as well. Maybe we'll solve the same question that we just did. Okay, so now what we'll do is we will estimate the total number of toothbrushes sold in India in a year, but here we will use bottom up approach. Okay, so yeah, we will start from a very basic granular piece of information. What can be the granular piece of information? My own consumption per year. How many toothbrushes I buy? Okay, so let's assume I am a regular user, regular toothbrush user. And of course, as a regular toothbrush user, I, let's say, buy 4 toothbrush per year. Okay. Now I will talk about how many people are just like. Okay. So how many people are like me? Like me, I'm just assuming, let's say 75% of the population. 75% of the population of India is like. Now, of course, the population is 140 crore, 75% will be nothing but 105 crore. So there are 105 crore people in India just like. If I talk about number of people who are other than me, who are different from me, so there are two kind of people who are different from me. One who use natural toothbrush, one who use electric toothbrush. Let me assume, let's say natural users are 20% of the population, electric users are 5%. 5% is nothing but 5% of 140 crore, that will be, I think, 7. And 20% will be nothing but 2.8. Sorry, 28 crore, right? Great. Now, what are they doing who are other than me? So natural users are actually not buying any toothbrush, so 0 per year. Electric users are, let's say, buying 1 toothbrush per year, so they are buying 1. Now, again, I have all the data. To arrive at the final answer, I need to just multiply the number of people multiplied by consumption. So regular users are 105 multiplied by 4, plus electric users are 7 multiplied by the consumption. Electric users are 28 multiplied by the consumption. And that is how you'll get the answer as 287 crore. No, 227, right? 227. That is how the answer. Again, we did a quick calculation in this matter because the 75%, 5%, 20%, 1 toothbrush, 4 toothbrush. These all calculations we already discussed. Hope the bottom up approach is also clear. If there are any questions on this, please let me know. I'm just pausing for a while to take any questions.
Sir, both the methods came up with very different answers, like at least double. So is that okay? Because I think the first one was 421 and this is
Okay, no.
227.
Okay, here also it is 427. It will not happen. It will not be double.
Okay.
I mean, it can happen. There might be, let's say, 10-15% error, but not more than that. And here, of course, we take the similar numbers, 4 only. There also we took 4. Here also around 75. There also around 75. So there will not be that error. Okay, great. We'll move forward then. To the third method, which is, I think, the most crucial method, which is constraint-based approach. What is constraint-based approach? First, let me tell you what does the constraint-based side. Anyone from Delhi in audience? Anyone who have went to, let's say, Rajiv Chowk Metro? Not from Delhi, but have you been to Rajiv Chowk Metro by any chance?
Yes.
Oh, great. At least one of you have. Okay. So other than that as well, you can just assume any metro for that matter. Rajiv Chowk, I'm taking an example because that is a famous. right? So if you want to enter into Rajiv Chowk metro, or you want to catch a metro from Rajiv Chowk metro, okay, what will be the steps? So first thing, you will reach outside of Rajiv Chowk. Let's say this is the vicinity of Rajiv Chowk. Sorry. So you'll reach at the vicinity of Rajiv Chowk metro station. Let's say this is Rajiv Chowk metro station. This is the area. There are certain gates: gate number 1, gate number 2, gate number 3, gate number 4, gate number 5. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Great. So these are the gates, right? So if you want to enter, of course, you need to enter through one of these gates. You can't enter through anywhere. So you need to, of course, enter through either of these gates, right? Once you enter, right? Once you enter, let's say gate number 1, you enter. Then there will be, again, I'm just assuming you have some token or ticket already. So then you need to go through one of those entry gates where the frisking and all will be, right? So you will go through here. Once you enter from here, there will be certain platforms. Let's say platform 1, platform 2, platform 3, platform 4. You will choose either of these platforms where you need to catch your train, right? There also, there can be, let's say, 5 minutes per metro. So you will wait for, let's say you arrived at 10:40, but the next metro is at 10:45. So you'll wait for next 5 minutes to catch that metro, right? So that will be. So what here is happening is, even if I want to catch a metro from here, let's say a metro station, there are certain rules that I need to follow. There are certain constraints. I can't just enter from anywhere. I need to enter from here only. I can't just let's say there's a line, so I can't just break the line. I need to go through the line. If there's a certain platform, I need to go to that platform only. If train is coming after 5 minutes, I can just catch the train only after 5 minutes, not before than that, right? So these all are constraints. Okay. And these usually are supply side, right? So I, as let's say Prashant, wants to catch. So Prashant is supply to the metro, right? So Prashant, if Prashant is entering, of course, these are constraints to entering of Prashant. So these are usually supply side constraints. Okay. So if you want to arrive at final number, the number of ways to catch the train or what are the easiest way, you need to go through each of the constraints. Okay. So that is what we do in this constraint based approach. We take all the supply side constraints, we work through each of them, and that is how we reach to the final answer. Okay. Hope the example was clear. We'll of course use one more example where we'll solve the guesstimates as well. But yeah, that is what I meant by constraint. There will be constraints, constraint 1, constraint 1, constraint 2, and constraint 3. You'll first work on constraint 1, then 2, then 3, and so on. Okay. And that is how you arrive at the final. Great. Let's move to the question. So this is the question we want to solve using constraint. Great. So the question says estimated total number of flights that take off from Mumbai airport in a given. You need to find the number of total flights that take off from Mumbai airport in a given. Okay. So, I mean, I'm just assuming someone from Mumbai is here. So you know about a little bit of Mumbai airport. Okay. Now tell me, what can be the constraints here? What do you think are the constraints?
The terminal 1, terminal 2, or domestic or international.
Okay. So one, you are saying that number of terminals, yeah, domestic or international, or sometimes there are 3, 4 terminals as well, 2 domestic, 2 terminals. So number of
So
terminals is 1.
runways can also be one constraint.
So let me park runway here. Okay, what you're saying is right, but let me tell you why runways or why not. Any other constraint you can think of?
What about weather? It's uncertain, but at times,
Weather, okay. Weather I'm putting in different line if you can see. Yeah, anything else other than that?
Boarding line.
Boarding line. Okay. When you say boarding line, it is at the boarding gate, or are you saying talking about some checking gate or something?
No, not the check-in gate one, but where you have to like the weigh your luggage and
Okay. Anything else other
So
than that?
what about delayed flights or cancelled flights?
Okay. Delayed flight, cancelled flight.
The fare, is it can be business and economical?
Okay, but usually either, I mean, what? Okay, so let me just put it here as well, business and economy. Okay. Anything other than that? That's it.
So when that is mentioned on a screen, that is time taken for a flight is also.
Yeah, it is. But do you think that is the right one? I mean, whatever is mentioned is.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll tell you. I will tell you. This, of course, is a complex problem. There are two ways of looking at it. Okay? There are two ways of looking. What are two ways to look at this problem? One way is supply side. One is demand. Now, what does supply means here? What does demand means? Okay. So one way is that if let's say there is a flight, okay, if flight starts running, okay, then where all it will go? So it will go to its runway. It will see the whether is good enough to take off or not. Okay, these all things. Okay? Another way is, let me look supply. Okay, when I say supply, if me as let's say Prashant wants to enter into flight, what all steps I will do? I'm more concerned about this. This is the right one that I will choose for this. But whereas this can also be the one. Some of you said runway, some of you say weather. Those all will come into the picture when I'm taking about the demand, or when I'm talking about, let's say, whether that flight, if let's say there's a plane which I have, how will I take it to flight? That I'm not bothering. Okay. I'm only talking about supply side. And supply side also, I'm not talking about if some delay is there, some mishappening is there, and so on. I'm only talking about someone who had scheduled the flight. So usually what happens, the schedule is clear. Let's say for 24 hours, these flights are there. So someone who is scheduling these flights, how will he schedule the flights? Okay. So whatever is scheduled is the number of flights that are taken off. That is the basic assumption that I'm. Okay. Now, if scheduling is the one that I'm, then what all? So first is, if I want to schedule some flights, I need to schedule for both the terminals. So number of terminals will also be the case. If let's say there are 8 terminals, I need to schedule for all the 8 terminals, right? Second thing, I need to schedule the flights for all the gates. So if let's say for one terminal itself, there are 20 gates, for all the 20 gates, I will make the schedule, right? So number of gates will also matter. Now, when I'm making this schedule, I'll keep a gap between these flights, right? So if let's say every half an hour I might keep a flight. Every 1 hour I might keep a maybe a flight, right? So third is time taken for a flight. Now, time taken for a flight, I'll also see when it is required more, when it is required less, right? So it will be required more in peak hours, okay? So in peak hours, and it will be required less in non-peak hours. So these are the ones which I think is required for me to schedule the flights. Okay. Hope what I'm saying is clear. What you said, what all, I mean, there were multiple things I was getting from the audience. Among those all things, I have just chosen these 4. And these 4 take up all the requirement. Nothing else will be required if I am scheduling the flights again. Anyone have any questions? Anyone want to defer to this or anything? Do you
can you
think?
just
Yeah.
can you just explain the like time taken for a flight peak and non-peak hours again?
Okay, so what I meant is, let's say I'm the scheduler. Okay, I'm scheduling the flights which should take off tomorrow. Okay, so I will schedule 11 a.m. one flight, 11:30 a.m. another flight, 11:45 another flight. So this gap between the flights, right? So one is there will be certain gap between the flight, and this gap will how many passengers actually travel. So it can happen that let's say there's some peak hour, I need to run more flights. So I'll run flight, let's say at 30 minutes. When there will be less passenger, I will run flight at 1 hour. Hope this clarifies.
Yes, sir.
Great. Anyone else? Anything? Great. If this is clear, then of course we'll run through the numbers one by one. Number of terminals. How many terminals are there on Mumbai Airport? Anyone?
Sir, not sure, but can we guess three?
Okay, there are two terminals. Okay. How many gates are usually per terminal? Yeah, how many gates are there? I mean, any airport you have been to, you can just tell me.
Sir, on T2, I've seen more than 100 gates for sure. Around 150-ish.
Okay. Okay, great. So I'm just taking a rational number here. I'm just taking 40 gates per terminal. Okay. Again, there can be different kind of domestic, they are less, international, they are enough. So I mean, just like that. I'm taking 40 gates per term. Okay. What do you guys think after how much time flights are set?
Sir, I think so. There is a 10 minutes of gap between two flights.
Okay, no, it is more than that. So usually you are at a gate. Okay, you are at a specific gate. Let's say you have been assigned gate number 11. You must have seen the flights which are scheduled to get that gate. Usually there's a time gap. There's good time gap, not more than 10 minutes.
I think half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour.
Okay.
Half an hour for sure, because boarding also takes a certain amount of time.
Okay.
Sir, I
Okay. So
guess more than
it will,
half an hour
yes,
because there's also
one,
security
yeah,
check on
right,
Mondays and weekdays morning usually. There's a lot of line in check-in as well.
right. So one is it will depend on peak and non-peak hours. That is one thing I think you all of you missed. So it will depend on peak and non. So first let's talk about what is peak hour, what's non, right? So peak I can say maybe early morning, maybe I can say late evening, right? So let's say 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Okay, or let's say 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. These are peak hours. So 8 hour peak hours. Okay, other 16 hours are non. So first I'll talk about peak hours, then I'll take out non. Let's say peak hours, there will be every flight in 30 minutes per flight. In non-peak hours, I'm taking 1 hour per. Okay, great. So these are the numbers. These are the numbers to go ahead with. Now I can just work through the constraints and I will be able to find this. How will I do? So if I talk about peak hours, every 30 minutes there's a flight. Total 8 hours are there. That means 2 flights per hour. That means total 16 flights in peak hours. Similarly, 16 non-peak hours are there. One flight every peak, non-peak hours. 16 flights are there. That means 16 plus 16, 32 flights. So 32 flights from one particular gate. How many such gates are there? 40 gates per terminal. How many such terminals are there? 2 terminals are there. That is what should answer. You can just multiply 232, 64, 64 into 4, 240, I think 256, right? 2560 should be the answer. Anyone can just confirm if this is the answer. Any questions on this? Please feel free to ask.
Sir, can you please repeat?
The whole problem?
Sir, after peak and non-peak hours, after you assumed
After
8 and
peak and
16
non-peak.
hours.
Okay. So, peak hours are 8, non-peak hours are 16, right? Peak hours are 8, non-peak hours are 6. Time taken for a flight. For peak hours, I'm taking 30 minutes per flight. That simply means 2 flights per hour. Hope this is clear. Non-peak, I'm taking 1 flight per hour. How many total peak hours are there? 8 peak hours. How many flights per hour? 2 peak hour. 2 flights. And so peak hour 8 into 2, total 16 flights will be there. For non-peak hours, 1 flight per hour. And how many non-peak hours are there? 16. So 16 into 1, that means total non-peak hours flight are 16. So how many flights from one gate? 16 plus 16, that is 30. 32 flights are taking off from one particular gate, right? Sorry, who asked? How many such gates are there?
40 gates per terminal.
40 gates, right? So I should multiply or divide, or what should I do? If I need to find for all 40 gates, multiply, right? And such 2 gates are there, so I'll multiply now by 2s. So this is what the answer should be. Let me know if there's any problem.
Two is like number of terminals, right?
Yeah, 2 is number of terminals, right? That is why I'm multiplying finally by 2. Because this number is giving me flights taking off from 1 a. Great. We'll move forward. This is clear. Okay, next and last method is using the simple.
Sir,
Yeah.
you said it can be solved from both supply side and demand side.
Right.
We solve this from supply side. So
Yes.
how can you just also show like quickly the demand side?
Definitely. So with demand side, what will I do is I'll tell you what all information you will require. Okay. And then you decide whether you really want to solve the demand. One thing you should know is how many number of aeroplanes are available. Okay. So in general, we don't have an idea how many aeroplanes will be there on, let's say, Mumbai airport in a given. Okay. That is the reason I didn't choose. Second, you will reach number of runways. Again, that is also something which is usually not known to us. Third, you will see if there are any other issues. Let's say aeroplanes are having some issues, weather issues, and so on and so forth. These 3 things you will know. Okay. Once you know these 3 things, and yeah, but one more thing you will need is on the runway thing, you will need time taken by one airport on a run. Aeroplane on run. Okay. Now just to take hypothetical number, I'm really unsure what this number of aeroplane or number of runways will be, but I'm just taking a hypothetical number since you asked. Okay. So I'm taking, let's say, 1,000 aeroplanes are there with me. Okay. Now 1,000 aeroplanes are there with me on Mumbai airport. Now this thousands also include the one who will, let's say, return from somewhere or who are already standing and throughout the day. So there can be one plane which is returning and then again going and again returning. So 3 times it I can. I've already counted it 3 times. Hope this clarifies. Okay. Let's say number of runways are, let's say, again, I'm taking 40. Just taking a hypothetical. Okay. And time taken by any airport on the runway, I'm taking, let's say, 30 minutes. Okay. So each of these aeroplane can be on the 30 minutes. Okay. On any of these runways. Okay. So there are 40 runways. Every 30 minutes, there can be 80 planes, right? There can be 80 planes which are available. Okay. Now this 80, in every hour, there can be, let's say, 160. 80 multiplied by 2. Every 30 minutes was 80. Every 60 minutes will be 160. and there are 24 hours. Okay. Now you see whether this is under this limit or not. If you want to take this limit, okay, if this is under this limit, you will take this as answer. If it is going over 1,000, then you will take 1,000 as answer. I hope this clarifies. Sorry, who asked?
So where does this 80 come from?
This 80 is coming from, since there are there were 40 runways. Okay, I multiplied by twice. Yeah, this only was 80. So there are 40 runways, right? Every time there can be one aeroplane on one runway. Okay, so that's why 40 aeroplanes can be on the runways at one time. Now they will be on the runway for next 30 minutes. So in 1 hour, how many aeroplanes can be on the runway? There can be 80 aeroplanes on the runway. This clarifies?
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay, but this is not a recommended way for sure, because you don't know number of airplanes, you don't know number of runways. These all things you don't really know. Great. Okay. Now fourth and the last method we are at. This is using simple maths. As the name suggests, this is the basic one. Okay. You need to just use the simple math. Okay. Now this simple maths can be your basic mathematical operation, plus, minus, multiply, divide. It can be your basic geometry. It can be basic geometry, arithmetic, whatever you learned during your CAT paper. Algebra, basic one, right? Not the advanced one. And that's it. Okay, nothing else. This is what you need to use. It can be plus, minus, multiply, divide. Yeah, please.
The number that comes in the earlier one demand side, if comes below 1,000, then we can take that number. If comes above 1,000, then we have to take 1,000, right?
Right. And not sure if you want to take this 1,000 wala constant or not. If you will leave this constant, you will not take this constant, that means also it is fine. Because again, you might not have an idea on how many planes actually come at the airport. So it is fine even if, let's say, you don't take this 1,000 constant.
Okay, sir.
Okay. This 1,000 actually is, if let's say there is some kind of aeroplane constraint as well. Because it might happen that I want to run all the, let's say, whatever, I think 40 runways I take. If let's say I want to run all the 40 aeroplanes on the runways, but I don't even have 40 aeroplanes at that time. I just have 30. So for that time only this constraint was there. Okay, great. We'll come back to this using simple maths. Okay. So yeah, these all things, maybe power, log, these all basic things you might want to use. Okay. Let's move to one example for this, right? This is the example. So example says, estimate the total number of tennis balls that can fit inside a classroom. A usual classroom, whatever your class size is, you can just take. Okay. So there will be a classroom, right? Something like this. Okay. There will be tennis balls like this fill inside. So how many tennis balls can fit inside? That is it. Okay. So what we are actually doing is we are dividing the volume of classroom with the volume of tennis ball. So answer will be nothing but volume of classroom divided by volume of tennis ball. Simple math, right? Simple divide it is. This is nothing but division of the volume, right? Now, if I want to find the volume of classroom, one thing you need to tell me what shape this classroom is. Anyone wants to tell me what shape this is?
Cuboid.
Cuboid. And what do you think? What will be the usual dimension of a classroom? You can tell me of any classroom that you have seen, or any room for that matter, whatever room you are sitting.
Sir, dimension as in what you're trying to say?
Cuboid, the size of the cuboid. How big the cuboid is, how big your classroom is. I need to find the volume, right? One thing I need to know is what shape is it. Another thing I need to know is what size it is.
1,000 or 1,500 per square feet.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking it as a cube, and I'm taking, let's say, 10 meter into 10 meter into 10 meter. Hope this is fine. So volume of classroom, I know the formula is L into B into H. Here it will be 10, 10, 10. So I'm taking the volume of classroom to be 10 meter into 10 meter into 10. Now someone tell me the volume of tennis ball. How to find that?
By taking the diameter of that tennis ball.
Yeah. What will be the diameter?
Then
What do you think?
I think so 10 centimeter. 10.
Okay, 10 centimeter.
Then
And
divided by 2, we will get radius. And
okay, you will
then
get radius. Okay. So
and
I'm
then
assuming,
4
let's say radius is 5 centimeter then.
then 4 upon 3 pi r cube.
Yeah. So formula for so this is a sphere basically. This is a sphere. Shape is sphere. Dimension is 5 centimeters. 4 by 3 pi r cube. So 5 centimeter into 5 centimeter into 5 centimeter. That should be the answer, right? But if I want to, let's say, think little more, maybe I can think about some constraints as well. So what constraints can be there? One constraint I can think of is that it might happen there might be some things already in the class. Okay, so it might happen that table is here, chair is here. So of course you can't fit tennis ball on those places. There might be some covered, some almirah, right? So you can't fit. So there might be some occupied space. And again, you need to take the assumption. I'm assuming, let's say 80% is occupied. Oh, sorry, 80% is only free. 20% is occupied. So in that case, you need to multiply this volume by 80% because only 80% will be, or 0.8 for that matter, because only that volume is available to fill with the tennis ball. Another constraint can be packing fraction. What do I mean by packing fraction is that whenever I, let's say, fit tennis balls, this is how air can be trapped there, right? So this air is also filling the volume. It is not just the volume of tennis ball. It is also happening that there's some air which is actually occupying the volume of this classroom, right? So I need to take this volume as well. So what I can assume that along with the tennis ball only, there is, let's say, 20% extra, 20% air as well. So extra 20% is there. That means the total volume which is there is 1.2 times of this. Okay, and I can just solve this, whatever this is. This can be at 0.422552, and then centimeter 100. So
Sir,
100
the
cube.
5 is in centimeter.
Right. Yes, that's why 100 cube, right?
Oh, sorry, sir.
So this should be the answer. Right. Hope this is clear. If there are any questions, please ask. These are all the 4 methods that I usually use to solve any case for that. Any questions, anyone?
So how did we calculate the air? Can you repeat that?
Yeah. So what we did is we assumed that along with the tennis ball, there is some air trapped here. Okay. And this, if let's say this volume is V, 20% volume is extra as well. That means 0.2 V air is there. Okay. So when I'm dividing by the volume of 10, there is 20% extra volume which air is taking. So if let's say V is volume of tennis ball, this 20% extra, that means total volume which should be divided is 1.2 V. And that's the reason I have just multiplied this volume by 1. Make sense?
Yes, got it.
Okay, great. Anyone else? Any other questions?
So how did it come 100 cube?
So basically 1 meter is 100 centimeters. Right? So I just
Okay,
1
you
meter I
got
have written 100 centimeters.
centimeter. Okay.
Yes, that is how we can cancel it, right? Because we need to equate the unit as well. It is not just about the number, it is about the unit itself. Great. If this is clear, we'll move forward. We'll move forward to understand how to approach the guesstimates in interview. Okay. What do you think? What do you guys think? I mean, we have just solved guesstimates. What would be the difference if, let's say, this comes in interview? Will you differ your approach or will you keep it same? Okay. So the difference between an interview and sitting at home is that interview actually is a two-way company, right? So you just need not to solve and get an answer. You also need to communicate yourself. Okay. So there's a framework which I have given here, which you can use to actually make the guesstimates a two-way process in the interview. So the approach is this: first you clarify, then you structure, then you analyze, and then you conclude. Okay, these are the 4 steps. What do I mean by clarify is that you understand the question well. Okay, so you need to ask some 2-3 clarifying questions. Ask 2-3 clarifying questions. So whenever interviewer will ask you any guesstimate, it might not be very clear to you. Okay, so it might not be very clear. So to make it clear, what you need to do is you need to ask clarifying questions, then only the question will be clear. Once the question is clear, then you will reach to the structure phase. You will see whether you will use bottom to up to down, whether any constraints are there, where will you start to, how will you break it down, so on and so forth. Then you will go to analyze phase. Analyze is where you will talk about the numbers. How much is the population of India? How much is the rural urban division? How much is the answer? Those are calculations you will do. Numbers and calculation. And finally, you will conclude. In the conclusion, you will of course tell the result along with the assumptions that you have. So what will you do is whenever you're solving, let's say this is the page, 1/4 of the page, you will just write the assumption. This is assumption, this is solution. So assumption should be very clear. And you will go in a manner, let's say someone asks you a question, I guess. Okay. Then you will see, sir, can I assume this? Sir, can I take this? Sir, I'm using top to down approach. Is it okay to take? Sir, I'm now doing this. This is how you should proceed in an interview. Not that you're just keeping silent, you're just solving and later you are then telling. Okay. So it should not happen. It should not be a, let's say, 2-minute silence. It should happen maybe 15-minute silence, then you're speaking, then again 15-minute silence, and then 15 seconds, sorry, not minute. 15-second silence, and then you speak, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now structure phase, I hope is clear to you that we have already done. Analyze again is about numbers. Conclusion also you can do. I'm not very sure if clarify phase is clear to you. So that's the reason I'll just give you one question. Tell me what clarifying questions you can ask on that. Okay. Great. The first question we can take. Clarifying phase, what are the questions that you will ask? I'll just repeat what is the question it is asked in the interview. What is the average number of people at any given time at the Mumbai airport on a weekday? Now tell me some clever clarifying questions which will actually help you to solve this.
So we have to consider only the passengers or other people also, like staff and
Okay, that's one
other
question,
supporting
of course.
people.
Only passengers or staff as well? Okay, great. Any other
Is
question?
this weekday in the middle of holiday season or a normal weekday?
Okay. Any specific thing about weekday? Maybe it is a, let's say, Friday or Monday, then also specific weekday, or it is a very generic weekday. Okay. Anything else other than this? Anything? Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
know
can,
if
of course. Yeah.
I don't know if this counts or not, but some people just have a layover for some time. So like, do those people need to be considered, or like, I don't
Of
know
course. Of
if
course.
this can be asked.
Yeah, this can be asked definitely. Okay, so one is you understood that there are just 2 to 3 questions you need to ask, not too much question and not very few as well. So ideally 2 or 3. Okay, now how will you ask? So you will just go one by one. Okay, so first, average number of people. Now, what do we mean by people? Is it just passengers? Is it staff? Is it someone accompanying the passenger? Is it the layover people? Is it, let's say, let's say the shop owners there, let's say auto, rickshaw, those all things. Okay, then move ahead. Any given time. Okay, what time are we talking about? Is it a peak hour? Is it a non-peak hour? Evening, morning, so on and so on. at the Mumbai airport. What do you mean by Mumbai airport? Okay, let's say Mumbai airport is this. Here it is auto stand. Are we counting the people on auto stand or not? Okay, if there are some shops here, are we counting these shops or not? Okay, similarly, layover can also be here as well. If let's say someone is sitting inside this in airport or some support staff here who is working, are we need do we need to calculate that those as well or not? Then fourth is weekday. Okay, so weekday also, whether it is some specific weekday holiday season or something, whether it is let's say Monday or Friday, so on and so forth. Okay, so these kind of questions you can ask. Hope clarifying question is clear. And whenever you will start solving the guesstimates in an interview, you'll ask some clarifying question before jumping onto the solution. Great. You can of course solve these two questions. I mean, you can find the answer as well later. We are not solving it in this class. Great. So there are some stats which you can memorize now. While you don't not just this is not the right one, I'll just correct it, and then you need to either make an Excel or either like let's say make a paper sheet as well. That is also possible. So this is 1.4 billion, and this is I think 7.9. Very soon to be 1.5. Very soon to be 8. Assuming 1.5 percentages are intact, you calculate each of these. Similarly, 7.9 take percentage same and then calculate all of this. Okay, memorize it. Memorize each and every one of it. There are some other things as well. Let's say how many people have mobile phones in India, how many people electricity, how many people have let's say internet. Okay, those all things, how many people have let's say two-wheelers, these all things as well you can, maybe about population density, male female ratio, these all. Okay, male female is here also given, but other things as well you can memorize. This is the bare minimum that you must memorize. Okay, and about your city as well. If you come from some specific city, let's say some college in let's say Udaipur, so you should know about Udaipur as well. If you come from let's say some specific Raipur, let's say, so you should know about Raipur, so on and so forth. Great. So these are the stats you can memorize, and I think this was it that I wanted to cover in this class. So just take a screenshot, later make a table or an Excel, try to memorize it. Any questions? Happy to take. Meanwhile, there's some homework as well that you can take. These are few good problems that you might want to solve. This is it. Guesstimate the number of. Okay, so there. Guesstimate the number of cigarettes consumed in India in a month. So this you can solve. This you can solve. Actually, this is a combination of two. Estimated total number of iPhone users in India. That is one. Okay. Then second question is estimated total number of iPhones sold in India last year. These are two different. Okay. This also you can try to solve. This is third question. Estimate the revenues of TV sold in India in last 1 year. This also you can solve. That's it. Nothing else I wanted to cover. If there are any questions, happy to take, as will close. Great. Any questions, guys? Anyone? I'm assuming there's nothing. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Feel free to reach out to me through different banners, of course, LinkedIn or any other way, if you have any questions. Bye.